All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I am Mrs. T. I'm your school social worker, and we're going to be doing things a little bit differently here for the next couple of weeks as we kind of navigate e-learning, and for parents as we navigate working from home. So kind of bear with me, bear with everybody in your family. We're going to see how this works to put some videos online for you so that I can continue to provide support and knowledge and skills. So we'll see how this goes. Today, I want to talk to you guys about worry because that's something that I think everybody is dealing with right now. If you feel like you're the only person that feels worried or stressed out, some other words we might say are nervous or overwhelmed or anxious. You're not the only person, you're not the only student, you're not the only parent, you're not the only family. We have had a lot of changes kind of go on in our world recently, in our state, in our school system. And so it's perfectly normal to feel a little bit out of sorts. You might feel like you might not even be able to put a name to it, but you might be feeling worried. You might feel like you're not yourself. Maybe you've had some trouble sleeping recently. Maybe you have been a little snappier towards your parents or as parents towards your kids, and that's completely normal. We're all kind of trying to figure this out, and so we're going to talk about it today because it's something that we might feel on any given day, but especially right now as we are figuring out what e-learning looks like in our homes, and as we kind of hear a lot of things going on in the media right now. So something that I want you guys to keep in mind is that we feel worry a lot of different parts of the day, but especially when things are out of our control, which is kind of happening right now, when something new happens or when we experience a change. And so that's a lot of what's gone on in this past week. So our brains are created with an alarm system to kind of let us know that something might not be safe. If something's new or different or something changes, we kind of have a smoke detector in our brain that goes off and says, we need to pay attention to that. It might not be safe. Let's look into that further, or, let's get ourselves to a safe place because we're not sure. This is different and new. So just keep that in mind. Everybody's going through this. Everybody might be a little more worried these days. Everybody feels worry and stress at some point in their life. But it's something that our brain was designed to do. So it's going to happen. Let's see. So we are going to feel symptoms of worry and anxiety and stress in our bodies as real physical symptoms. So I want you guys to kind of do a body scan with me really quickly, starting at your head. And we're going to move down. Think about where you might carry worry and where what you're feeling in your body that makes you know you're worried. So do you have headaches? Have you had trouble sleeping lately? Or maybe you're oversleeping. Maybe you have felt dizzy or like you couldn't focus as much. As we move down, think about how you might feel like someone's sitting on your chest. Maybe you're short of breath. Maybe you feel like you can't catch your breath, or your heart is beating really fast. That's another place where our body carries worry. As you kind of move through your body, think about how you might be like biting your nails. You might be fidgeting, feel like you can't sit still. Again, feeling like you can't focus on things. And then think about your stomach, because that's a really common place where we carry worry. You might have had more stomach aches. You might have not felt like eating, or felt sick to your stomach, or felt stomach pains. That's a huge place where we carry worry. So let's see. You might feel like chilly when you feel worried, or your face might get warm. You might feel sweaty when you're nervous and anxious. So it's going to be different for everybody, but it's kind of important to understand what our body's telling us. So when we feel like parents also, when you have a kiddo who's saying that their stomach hurts, or that they're, having headaches and things like that, sometimes that can be worries or anxiety. So that's something to kind of pay attention to over the next couple of weeks. But for kids too, you can kind of start to notice and maybe scan through your body every day and just notice, where am I carrying worry in my body? And kind of be aware of some of those symptoms. Be aware of what your body's telling you, because it was created for again, with that alarm system to kind of let us know something's new, something's different, and here's how I'm going to let you know that. So that's great. Everybody feels worried. I'm glad that hopefully everybody can kind of feel calm knowing that they're not alone. Everybody's feeling a little bit worried right now, or nervous or anxious. But what do we do about it? We have to be able to control it. So I want to give you guys a couple of quick strategies in this video, and then I'm going to go and dive into some of those strategies in some different videos as the weeks go on. But the first one is just take a deep breath. It seems really simple. You all can do it. When our heart's beating really fast, when we are feeling like we can't make decisions well and we lack focus, sometimes just taking a deep breath is helpful. Taking 10 deep breaths, 5 deep breaths, whatever that looks like for you, because we are bringing oxygen to our bodies. We are slowing our heart rate. We're taking some time, maybe it's a minute or two, to just kind of calm ourselves, to be able to think logically about what the next step is going to be. So I want you guys to practice that. You can put a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly. Probably can't see that. But I want you to try to take a deep breath and keep your hand on your chest still, and your hand on your belly will rise. So we're trying to breathe in our belly. We're trying not to breathe like up here. We're trying to breathe deep into our belly. So see if you can do that. And again, I think I'll do another video about this, but see if you can breathe in for 4 seconds and then hold your breath for 4 seconds and out for 4 seconds. If that seems tricky, try 2. If that seems easy, try longer. But just taking some deep breaths can be really calming for our body, and it's going to be helpful to calm some of those worries and anxiety. Another thing that I'll do another video on as well and post some links on this video is muscle relaxation. So you might notice when you get really nervous or worried that your shoulders are up here, or maybe you're just really tense, or you have a headache or a neck ache. So sometimes muscle relaxation, where we tense and relax our muscles and we're really intentional about that, can be helpful. So I'm going to post some links that you can follow to do some guided muscle relaxation. Another one I think I'm going to do another video on, because it could just go on and on, is positive thinking. So if we wake up every day, if I wake up this morning on this day where I'm just going to be home, and I think this is going to be a terrible day. I have to take care of a child. I have to figure out how to work from home and get all of my things done. And there are all these things going on in the world that I cannot control, and all of this stuff is going to happen. It's going to be a terrible day, and I can't go anywhere, and everything's closed, and right? That's going to be really hard for me to have a positive and have a positive day, be effective at getting my things done, my schoolwork done, my work done, whatever that looks like for you. Some of those things might be true. There are definitely things out of my control, and there are definitely things that I'm going to have to plan for. There's definitely things that you are going to have to plan for as a student and to think about, but being really negative about it and saying this is going to be a terrible day and I can't get anything done and my siblings are fighting and my mom is stressed out and my dad has to be at work and all of these things, it's not going to be helpful. So I want you guys to think about when you start your day, or maybe if you get to your afternoon and you're feeling really worried and just stressed out, take inventory of what you're thinking about in your head, okay? And I'll do another video for the little kids, because this might be a little bit over their head. But for the older students, think about your thoughts. What are you thinking? What's going on in your head? What are you worried about? That's fine. Those are valid worries. It's okay to be thinking about those things. But what is your self-talk? And try to make that more positive. So if you wake up in the morning and you can even just stop some of those negative thoughts and consciously change them to positive and say, this is tricky. E-learning is not the easiest thing I've ever done, but I can do it. I have skills and strategies. I'm creative and I'm flexible, and I'm going to do the best that I can. You're going to have a better day. You're going to feel a little less stressed out and overwhelmed if we're thinking in that positive direction. So again, I'll do another video about that, but that's just a quick example of how you could change negative thinking to positive thinking to hopefully alleviate some of that stress and worry you might be feeling throughout the day. Something that's really helpful for me, especially right now, that our older students can implement is planning, lists, routine, schedule. Our brain likes that. Our bodies like that. And you guys are used to that at school. And so if you can implement any of that at home by sticking to a schedule, taking breaks, making to-do lists, just keeping up some of your routine, that's going to be really helpful for helping yourself feel prepared and less worried and stressed. All right. Something that's really important that might be tricky, talking to someone. So if you've got somebody in your house that you feel like you can talk to them. Share your worries, share your stress. You guys can support each other. I know in some families, it's not the most comfortable thing. Sometimes it's really awkward, and sometimes families don't talk about their worries, and I totally get that, and that's okay. But if we can take steps towards that as a family, as students, if you have a friend that you can text or call, or a family member you can talk to in your house, if you feel like that's just not for you, or it's not for you right now, you could journal. So you could just write it out, make a list of what's worrying you, or keep a notebook or something that you can kind of write things out. For little kids, we could help them maybe draw some things out. If they feel like they can't talk about it, we could encourage them to draw that out. So getting it out of our heads. If you know me, if you've met me in person and you've talked with me in person, you know that I talk about things stacking and stacking and stacking up, and then they boil over. So if we let all of our worries just stay inside of us, they begin to stack and stack and stack, and it can have really negative effects on our relationships. So if we can get some of that out and talk to somebody, I would encourage you all to do that. Last thing I would say is get outside, read, listen to music, play your sports, do your hobbies. You guys have a lot of things to do as students. You still have schoolwork to get done, but you maybe have a little bit of extra time throughout your day to do the things that you enjoy. As parents, maybe that's the same for you if you're working from home. As teachers, as administrators, as anybody, we might have a little bit more time these days that we're home to do something fun. Get outside with your kids, spend time as a family, read, journal, write, dance, do whatever makes you happy. That's going to alleviate stress, but it's also going to be for each individual person. It's going to look different. So I would encourage you to get a Post-it note, maybe go back through this video and listen to some of the strategies. Get a Post-it note, put it in your planner, stick it on your fridge, wherever you're going to see it. And just kind of list out some strategies that you feel like would work best for you when you feel like this worry and stress is getting too big. Because sometimes when we're really worried, we forget all the strategies that we know. We forget this whole list of things. And so if right now, while you feel calm, you can come up with that plan for the future, then when you're feeling really stressed and worried, you can go back to that and kind of look at it. So I hope this is helpful. Again, I'm going to go into a couple of these strategies in their own separate videos, so be looking for those in the future. But just know that right now we are all just doing our best, and we need to give each other grace and kindness, from the person at Kroger that you see, to your parent who is trying to do the best that they can, to your student who's trying to do the best that they can. We're all just kind of navigating this together, and some of that worry and stress might come out as anger. It might come out, in really negative ways from some of our students, or students from some of your parents. And so we just need to keep that in mind, that we all owe each other a little bit more grace right now. So I will hopefully see you guys in some later videos, and have a great day.